So just a little update on my Corydora experiment. So what I found is that these standard containers that you can buy for catching fish and like rearing them, just one sec. That the fish when they're born, they tend to escape through the tiny slots on the side of the dishes. So when you have your tank inside, suspended or floating, whatever, I had to modify this one because heads up, some of them don't actually have a suspension system on them. They just intended to float. I guess it's cheaper like that. Anyway, so what I found is that when these little guys are born, they tend to escape through the sides and obviously eat it if it's in a community tank. So when I tried the net ones, it's a mesh system with a frame inside of it, and what I found is that those the fish, when you try to release or do anything, tend to get stuck between the fabric and the frame, which is not a really great design. I in fact had a lot more loss of fish than I had with these hard containers, so that's why I went back to those. Anyway, so what I found then is that it's actually quite hard to find the right fabric, and I'm sure there's a lot of different ideas, but I couldn't figure it out. I tried plastic, you cannot really. The problem is with these containers that you either have to drill really small holes, and lots of them, or cut it, but everything is pretty fine. Like by the size of the fry, they're about half a millimeter to 0.75, and they fish, so they're pretty wiggly, so they can get through the sides really easily. Anyway, so I use the scrubs for your dish soap and just hot glue them inside of it, so just have them attached. So it's been working pretty good. I did see some fish getting stuck inside of the grooves, but it hasn't been too bad. As I can really tell, there's a lot of loss to that, or due to that. And what I found though is that I had a reduction in the water movement. So what I had to do then is, because I guess it's sealed enough, and with some algae or whatever you have, then you'll get it pretty spotty. So what I found then is that I ran my drip line right from the water main. I'm sure I can plug it pretty easily, or just replace it. It's just a piece of tubing inside of it. So there's a drip line inside of the tank just to bring some fresh water and oxygen right from the sump, running right up. So it's been way better with that. So now the hatch rate is improved too, and this was a pretty good spawn. I mean, gonna really see it if they all hatched yet. I think there's probably a couple of days in between the newest and the oldest batch inside of it, but it's gonna be near like 100, I would say. And unfortunately, I'll say about half will make it in my case, because I tend to have a genetical disorder. So what happens, it's hard to say, but the adult fish tend to be really healthy looking, and then unfortunately some of the fish, they developed kink in the spine. I have a hard time letting them go, but you do have to cull some, that's for sure. And it's just fun to see this process coming through, and seeing them from babies to adults. It's for the hobby. All right, see ya.